the Renaissance. It was a time of incredible change in Europe, a period of rebirth after the Middle Ages. From the 14th to the 17th centuries, Europe underwent a transformation. This cultural movement touched every aspect of life, from art and science to literature and philosophy. The Renaissance marked a departure from the medieval focus on religion. Instead, people became fascinated by the classical worlds of ancient Greece and Rome. Thinkers and artists looked back to these civilizations for inspiration. They studied their art, literature, and philosophy to learn from the past and build a better future. The Renaissance celebrated human potential. It laid the foundation for the modern world, shaping our values, our art, and our understanding of the universe. Why did the Renaissance begin in Italy? There are several reasons for this. Italy was the center of the Roman Empire, and ruins of ancient Rome were everywhere. These ruins served as a constant reminder of the glory of the past, inspiring artists and thinkers. Italy was also a land of thriving cities. Places like Florence, Venice, and Rome were centers of trade and commerce. Merchants and bankers in these cities became incredibly wealthy. They used their wealth to support artists and scholars, fueling the Renaissance. The political structure of Italy also played a role. Italy was divided into independent city-states, each with its own ruler. Cities competed with each other for prestige and power by commissioning grand buildings and works of art. This competition further stimulated the Renaissance. No discussion of the Italian Renaissance would be complete without mentioning the Medici family. This powerful family ruled Florence for much of the 15th century. They were bankers and merchants, and their wealth was legendary. But the Medici were more than just wealthy businessmen. They were passionate patrons of the arts. Cosimo de' Medici, the patriarch of the family, was a key figure in the early Renaissance. He established the Medici Bank, which became one of the most powerful financial institutions in Europe. Cosimo's grandson, Lorenzo the Magnificent, continued this tradition. Lorenzo supported artists like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Sandro Botticelli. The Medici family's patronage had a profound impact on the Renaissance, leading to the creation of iconic works of art. The Renaissance witnessed a revolution in painting and sculpture. Artists began to break free from the stiff, stylized forms of the Middle Ages. They sought to create realistic images that captured the beauty of the human form and the natural world. One of the most important innovations of Renaissance art was the development of linear perspective. This technique allowed artists to create the illusion of depth on a flat surface. Leonardo da Vinci, perhaps the most famous artist of the Renaissance, embodied this spirit of innovation. A true Renaissance man, Leonardo was a painter, sculptor, architect, engineer, and scientist. In his paintings, such as the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, Leonardo used light and shadow to create a sense of volume and realism. Michelangelo, another giant of the Renaissance, was a master of both painting and sculpture. His fresco on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel is one of the most awe-inspiring works of art ever created. Raphael, known for his harmonious compositions and graceful figures, created masterpieces like the School of Athens. Section 5. Architects of Beauty Brunelleschi and the Dome. The Renaissance wasn't just about painting and sculpture, it was also a golden age of architecture. Architects looked to the classical buildings of ancient Rome for inspiration. One of the most celebrated architectural feats of the Renaissance was the dome of the Florence Cathedral, designed by Filippo Brunelleschi. For over a century, the cathedral had stood unfinished, its massive dome seemingly impossible to build. Brunelleschi, a skilled goldsmith and sculptor, won a competition to design and build the dome. He invented new machines and techniques to lift materials to the top of the dome without the use of scaffolding. The completion of the dome in 1436 was a triumph of engineering and a symbol of the Renaissance spirit. Brunelleschi's dome inspired generations of architects and became a defining feature of Renaissance architecture. Section 6. A Universe Rediscovered. Science in the Renaissance. The Renaissance wasn't just about art and architecture. It was also a time of great scientific discovery. Scholars began to question the traditional teachings of the Church and to explore the natural world through observation and experimentation. One of the most significant scientific breakthroughs of this period was the development of the heliocentric model of the solar system. For centuries, people had believed that the Earth was the center of the universe. But in the 16th century, Nicolaus Copernicus, a Polish astronomer, challenged this view. Copernicus proposed that the Sun, not the Earth, was the center of the solar system. Another key figure in the scientific revolution was Galileo Galilei. Galileo's observations provided further evidence to support Copernicus's heliocentric theory. These scientific discoveries challenged the authority of the Church and paved the way for the scientific revolution of the 17th century. Section 7. The Power of the Printed Word. Gutenberg's Revolution. No invention had a greater impact on the Renaissance than the printing press. Developed by Johannes Gutenberg in the mid-15th century, the printing press used movable type to create books quickly and cheaply. Before Gutenberg's invention, books were rare and expensive. They were painstakingly copied by hand, usually by monks in monasteries. The printing press changed all that. It allowed for the mass production of books, making knowledge more accessible to a wider audience. The printing press facilitated the spread of new ideas and knowledge across Europe. It played a key role in the Protestant Reformation by spreading Martin Luther's 95 Theses. The printing press was a catalyst for change, empowering individuals and creating a more literate and informed society. Section 8. Humanism, putting man at the center. At the heart of the Renaissance was a new way of thinking known as humanism. Humanism emphasized the value and agency of human beings. It celebrated human potential and encouraged people to explore their own creativity and intellect. Humanists were fascinated by the classical world. They studied Greek and Roman literature, philosophy and history. One of the key figures in the humanist movement was Erasmus of Rotterdam. Erasmus was a scholar and a priest who is best known for his translation of the New Testament from Greek into Latin. Another important humanist was Niccolò Machiavelli, a Florentine diplomat and writer known for his book, The Prince. Humanism had a profound impact on Renaissance art, literature, and philosophy, encouraging artists to portray the human form with greater realism and emotion. Section 9. Renaissance, Men and Women, a New Ideal. The Renaissance gave rise to a new ideal, the Renaissance man. This was an individual who excelled in many different fields. Leonardo da Vinci, with his expertise in art, science, engineering, and anatomy, is often cited as the quintessential Renaissance man. But the Renaissance wasn't just about men. Women also played an important role in this cultural movement. Women like Isabella d'Este, Caterina Sforza, and Vittoria Colonna were patrons of the arts, writers, and intellectuals. They challenged societal norms and proved that women were capable of achieving great things. Their stories remind us that the Renaissance was a complex and multifaceted movement that involved both men and women. Section 10. Beyond Italy. The Renaissance spreads its wings. While the Renaissance began in Italy, it didn't stay there. Renaissance ideas spread northward, carried by scholars, artists, and merchants. By the 16th century, the Renaissance had taken root in France, Germany, England, and the Netherlands. Each country developed its own unique take on the Renaissance. In Northern Europe, the Renaissance was influenced by the Protestant Reformation. Artists like Albrecht Dürer in Germany and Pieter Bruegel the Elder in the Netherlands incorporated religious themes into their work. In England, the Renaissance reached its peak during the Elizabethan era, with playwrights like William Shakespeare producing some of the greatest works of English drama. The Renaissance also had a profound impact on science and exploration. The spread of the Renaissance across Europe demonstrates the power of ideas to transcend borders and to shape cultures. Section 11. A Lasting Legacy. the Renaissance and us. The Renaissance was a pivotal period in European history. It marked a transition from the medieval world to the modern era. Its impact can still be felt today in our art, our science, our literature, and our values. The Renaissance gave us some of the most iconic works of art in history, from Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa to Michelangelo's David. It laid the foundation for modern science, challenging traditional views of the universe and paving the way for the scientific revolution. The Renaissance also shaped our values, emphasizing the importance of education, individual achievement, and human potential. Today, we live in a world shaped by the Renaissance. Its legacy continues to inspire and challenge us today.